Hi, I'm Wayde Kirvida from CustomFIRE, and behind me today we have a new rescue truck which we just built for the Borough of Belmar in New Jersey. This truck is built on a Kenworth T370 chassis, features our full response rescue cab, and a non-walk-in aluminum rescue body. You can probably tell that the proportions of this truck are neat and tidy, and that's by design. They have a low overall height at their fire hall and then a fairly aggressive apron. So we managed to keep this truck at 8 feet 11 inches tall, and it's 29 feet 11 inches long. We obviously have two front seats in the Kenworth cab, and then in the full response crew cab we have three forward facing bucket seats with Bostrom Secure All brackets. The lighting on this truck is furnished by Technique, and it's a series of K60 LED warning lights and scene lights. And then nestled up into the roof of the Apparatus body we have a command light tower. Also up there is a hydraulic generator. So the truck is configured with ROM painted roll-up doors. We have pass-through compartments ahead of the rear axle and above the rear axle, and then also below the forward-facing seats in the crew cab. Up above you might notice that we have a camera eye mounted on the crew cab. That's the Fire Research 360 camera system, which shows a perimeter of the truck and then whatever camera is activated to the driver. We also have a monitor at the fill station, which you'll see in a bit. All right, with the doors open, again you can see that we do have pass-through compartments above the rear axle and ahead of the rear axle, and we have a variety of vertical and horizontal dividers along with tip-out upper trays, transverse lower tray above the frame rails, and then some half-depth tool boards which are on either side of the truck. And then within each compartment we do have duplex outlets wired in, and then all the compartment floors feature turtle tile. And then in the wheel well on this side we have a pull-out oil dry dispenser, and then a compartment with a divider for two fire extinguishers. Now, I mentioned earlier this is an aluminum Apparatus body. We also build in stainless steel, and in either case they feature our bolted construction. So I don't get into this a lot in many videos, and I probably should. So here I'll just kind of explain to you how this truck is built out. We start with a proposal drawing, which is basically a 2D rendering of the plans for the customer to look at and approve. Once we sell the truck, it moves to our project manager and our engineering team. They review the specs in detail. They schedule the pre-build and conduct that with the customer in person at the plant, at their site, or via Zoom is more common nowadays. And once the spec is built out and detailed to their exact final expectations, then the engineering begins. The purchasing has already taken place for some of the long lead components, and then it becomes 3D modeled in Pro Engineer Creo 3D modeling software. From there we create part files for every part on the Apparatus body, and I mean every little bracket you see, every little tab and divider. Very minimal use of drills and sawzalls, and zero use of plasma cutters and torches. Everything is cut on our Bystronic laser, and then from there it moves to our Bystronic 5-axis CNC press brake. So these bodies are built to a precision that no other manufacturer in this industry is meeting, certainly not exceeding. And again, in this case, this is an 1/8 inch aluminum fabricated body. All the parts are bolted together with 1/4 inch stainless low profile Allen head bolts and nylock nuts. So there's never any loosening of the body compartments, no concerns for weld fractures or fatigue, and as you'll see in some of these photos, we can do a very easy repair of the body in the event of damage. You'll see some pictures here of a pumper that was damaged by the wing blade on a county plow truck. Now these guys are in northern Minnesota, and they had a snow event during a structure fire. The county came in to push a path up to the structure, and unfortunately as the truck was leaving, the wing blade hooked itself into the rear body corner. Now this truck was brought into the plant and they were back in service a couple weeks later. We had all the parts already produced for replacement. You can see that even the hose in the hose bed stayed on the truck the entire time during the repair. Now, you know, we don't expect or intend, or certainly not hope for our trucks to get damaged, but we do have another one in the factory right now that had sustained some wheel well damage. We just delivered one back to a customer, a 25-year-old truck, and they went out the station with their lift-up door out, and you know, a lot of damage took place on the body there. We were able to retrieve the CAD files, make new parts, and they're back in service. So those are just some of the things we encounter every single year with, you know, the number of customers we have out there, as little mishaps occur during, you know, just routine operation, mutual aid events, and a fair number of trucks get hit by cars on scene, you know, rear-ended, you know, drivers not paying attention to what's going on, obviously. All right, the back of the truck here is pretty clean and orderly. We have our lower level stop tail turn lights, bottom zone C warning lights, upper zone C warning lights, and then a couple rear 12-volt LED scene lights as well. Now on top of the body, we basically have a recessed command light, a recessed generator, and then a small coffin compartment that just is kind of using some of the available space up there. And that's why we furnished our swing out drop down ladder on the back of the truck. In the rear center compartment, we have a pull-out floor tray, an upper pull-out tray, a cord rail with a junction box, and then above that we have a traffic bar and a camera eye. On the officer side, moving back to front, down below we have the horizontal space saver. Normally you see these vertically standing up, but this just used the space really well. We also put these on pumpers above the rear axle oftentimes, because that horizontal layout works really well in that configuration. See here that you can put a couple bottles in this containment system. And then up above the fill station, we have controls for a command light and then the breaker box. And you can see again the pass-through nature of the two forward compartments, variety of trays and shelves. And down below we have some underbody compartments. They sit quite low to the ground on this truck, just the nature of the chassis and the body height. Now the doors on this crew cab have been widened a bit. They're about 4 inches wider than typical, and that was just a customer request to give them a little more space getting in and out. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the heat and air conditioning in this crew cab. We have some LED scene lights. There's a pass-through into the Kenworth chassis cab, and then we have 3 forward-facing SCBA seats. This is a great looking truck that we just finished for Belmar, New Jersey. If you're in the market for a pumper, rescue, or tender, we'd love to hear from you. I'm Wayde Kirvida at CustomFIRE, and thanks for watching. I might never be ready. This is our CustomFIRE. One of the many attributes of a custom. One of the.
You can just start with the picture.
It's a series.
Sorry, I'll probably just kind of.
All right, great. Well, you think this is an airport or something? And then we also have a light. Should I just start over? Made that look really easy, didn't I?